Lady Barnett, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. I enjoyed that. My next guest is one of Britain's few international film stars. Women particularly react to him. One lady writer, not renowned for drooling, wrote of him, and I quote, "He is a Gothic hero in the living, lusting flesh. He smoulders, a mobile furnace," end quote. Well, that's as may be, but he certainly packs them in at the box office, having 3 hit movies playing at the same time in the West End. He is, ladies and gentlemen, Oliver Reed. I feel I must ask you this question, Oliver, because everybody's been asking me it this week, because we're at the same event. What was the matter with you at the British Screen Awards on Wednesday? So I told you it was a good question.
I was, on Wednesday morning, sitting in the bath with a large cold sponge on my head, wondering how I could beat a friend of mine in a gooseberry competition, because we were planting gooseberries. And my girlfriend knocked at the door, and I had locked the door, strange enough. I thought, well, that's a silly thing to do. And so I said yes, and she said, somebody wants you to present an award at the British Film Academy Awards. And I thought, I said, oh, and she said, yes, because somebody's gone sick. So I said, I took the sponge off, and I said, certainly, I'd be delighted. I understand, actually, you instigated that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes,
why did you do that?
Well, they were looking for somebody to do it.
You mean there was nobody there?
Yes, they were looking for somebody to come along there, a celebrity, to present prizes, and I said you were around.
On the Wednesday morning?
Yes.
Fine.
No, this was Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Right.
Well, I got the message on a Wednesday morning. Anyway, I went down there, and they said, appear there at 7:30. So I appeared at 7:30. I then presented my ticket, and they said, you can't go until 8:15. So I then said, is there a bar? And they said, there's no bar. And I said, is there a hospitality room? They said, there's no hospitality room. So I wandered round and round the Albert Hall, which I know fairly well because I go to the fights there. And in the end, the lady opened the door, and she put me in with 2 gin and tonics, said 50p, and then I was allowed out at 8:15, went down, and a lady covered in paper clips and barrows came up to me, and she said, now you've got 4 nominations, you read them out, you wait until the 4 clips are over, then you open the envelope, and you announce the winner. So I said, thank you very much. And then another lady with paper clips came up and barrows, and she said exactly the same thing, so I said, yes, thank you very much. I do understand. I went out onto the stage. Johnny Mills, bless his heart, was there, and I read 2 of them out, and he dragged me away. And then they showed 4 clips. I went over to him, and I said, Johnny, what's happened? He said, they told me after 2 I was going to stop you. And I said, well, look, mine, it's got 4 on it. So after that, we did our thing. Everything was great. I kissed Johnny Mills' wife. I went home. My brother rang up, who was my manager the next morning. He said, how did it go? I said, fine. He said, you sure? I said, yes. He said, what happened after? I said, nothing. He said, only all the press are ringing up saying you kicked Johnny Mills in the crutch. I mean, ankle, if you like.
Well, I'm going to say, I know it wasn't the crutch, because I met him afterwards. And, he was speaking with a normal voice.
Right.
But I suppose that, I mean, what happens then? Is it that the press make up stories about you, or what?
I think they do. I think there's probably not enough. I don't know what the night editor does or the sub-editor does. I'm not sure of these technical names, but I think that, you know, if it was, and some people have written about it, I believe the Daily Mail did, and accused it of being a non-event, simply because it wasn't representative of the British film industry, and if it was representative of anybody, none of those people were there to collect their awards. Some people have suggested that it should be confined to television because it represents at least television personalities, and the television personalities are either courteous enough or unemployed enough to be there to collect their awards. If nothing happens, then they say, how can we make it happen? They say, well, Oliver Reed is there. Let's say he kicked John Mills in the crutch and see what happens. I find I get that a lot of the time.
But aren't you really a victim of your own publicity, Oliver, in the sense that when you first started in the business, I mean, you didn't deny a lot of the stories that were going around about you because it was good publicity at the time.
Yeah, I think that anybody who's involved in the entertainment world, I mean, Mr. Spillane is here not because I'm sure he's delighted to meet you, but not because he particularly wants to meet us, but because he's out to promote his book. I think Cassius Clay said he was the king because he wanted to be the king. He wanted the people to come to the audience. I think that there used to be, when there was a British film industry, a department known as the publicity department. And they used to hoik us up and down the country, and we used to open bowling alleys and kiss usherettes and do that. And I think that I had that kind of surly image. I got a lot of advice. I had some advice once. Actually, the only reason that I really started acting in the fashion that I do is I made a film once. I made a lot for Hammer Films. You ever see them?
Yes, Curse of the Werewolf.
That's right, all those. I made a film once called Captain Clegg. I remember Peter Cushing was in it, and I was in a car crash because my ex-wife rolled the car over and I squashed it under a lamppost. And I appeared the next day, and my arm actually was all covered in blood, and somebody grabbed me and they said, "Are you all right, Captain Clegg?" or whatever my name, Robert, I think my name was. And I said, "Yes, I'm all right," or something like that, probably over the top. I was hurt. I said, "I'm all right." Peter Cushing came up to me and said, "Oliver, remember, when you are hurt in a thing, never make always the understatement. If you're going to say, 'Yes, I'm hurt,' so you just say, 'Yes, I'm all right.'" And so I've kept that up ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But the thing that used to get round about you and still does, I think you put this into words yourself. You once said, well, you said it more than once, that the image that the press got of you was of kind of boozy ram.
Yes.
But I mean, that's something that you regret now, obviously.
I don't regret boozing. I like boozing because I like the people. I mean, I refuse to be driven out of my local pub simply because people want to aim one at me. I would much prefer that they didn't, because I've had enough aimed at me and enough of them have hit me.
Does that happen?
Yes, it does. No,
Really?
yes, I do, and I enjoy the company of people. I spend a lot of time in my country pub. I very rarely go up to town. But I like talking to people. I'm very interested in the country. I enjoy talking to people in the pub. It's the only place, better than acting school. I mean, I went in the army and I came out. That was a great acting school. And I came out and they said, "You should go into the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art." And I said, "No, thank you very much." And then they said, "You should go into rep." And I said, "No, thank you very much." And I spent 5 years in my local pub, hustling, playing darts, getting some booze. But it's the only place that you can see a man come in with a bowler hat and striped trousers on and check tie. He's very elegant. He starts talking about political events. And then the bowler hat goes off and the tie... Sorry, he's a gentleman. He's taken it off before. Sorry, Lady Barnett. The tie goes a bit asquiff. And then afterwards you find out about his love affairs, and his wife's gone off with the postman. And then he falls down, and then the ambulance comes, and then you know how the hospitals work. And it's great. And all you've done is spend 5 hours in a boozer.
An education.
It is.
Absolutely.
Right.
But that fascinated me, actually, what you said about Cushing's advice to you and about the way that since then you've done it with the eyes. Because it always struck me, actually, watching people like McQueen, say, or Newman on screen, that really is what it's all about, isn't it, the eyes?
I think it is. I mean, I know very little. That's over-modest. I know quite a lot. But I know relatively little about cinema. I mean, what I have learned, and with the changing of style, is that they have now very developed lenses. They have 1,000mm lenses, which are made in Russia, and they can go right across London. The advantage of the camera is that it can go in here,
Yes.
and it can see you. The theatre I adore, but I don't have a great interest in it. But the theatre is always over the top, and you're always conscious that somebody's talking like that so they can hear right at the back of the gods, or they're talking about their floats, or Dr. Greasepaint, or they're always involved for 6 months. The camera is immediate. The camera there at 5:30 in the morning or 7:30 on a Monday morning when you've got to play your shot, and it's in there. And it knows what you've been doing the night before, too.
Yes, right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at you as well.
And I've been made up.
I have too.
I know.
Yeah, what was
for
it?
half an hour.
Yeah. What was I going to ask you there? There's something I was going to ask you there about it. What was it about the eyes?
I don't know. Not very professional of you, is it?
No, I was...
I'll be ticked off for that, too, actually.
Oh, no, I know what it was. I know what it was. It was something that Orson Welles said on this programme.